Welcome to Costume Confidential. I'm your host, Mona May. Today I'm excited to welcome Kasia Walicka-Maimone to discuss her brilliant costume designs and concepts for the film Springsteen, Deliver Me from Nowhere. Kasia, thank you for being here. I'm so excited to have you. I love the movie. It was so beautiful, and Jeremy Allen just stole my heart.
Thank you so much, Mona. Thank you for having me. And yes, let's discuss this beautiful, intimate movie that was done with so much love of so many people, with such a devotion from the makers, the actors, the incredible design team. It was quite a jewel to be participating in.
Yeah, it's such an unexpected film. I truly went to see something different, and I was truly taken back how beautiful the story was. It really was so intimate. I didn't grow up in this country, so I didn't know his music. It didn't really affect me maybe this way that most Americans. But it was such a more of a story of who he is, especially in that time in his life. And I think he did such a beautiful job creating the costumes and kind of blending the reality and strength, and also, his kind of breaking down as well, which I thought was so beautiful. But let's start with how do you have such a amazing resume. I mean, from Moonrise Kingdom to Capote to Gilded Age. I mean, Adjustment Bureau, and now the Springsteen movie. How do you choose your projects? I mean, how do you? It's interesting. I mean, have you worked with Scott Cooper before? How did that came about too?
I did work with Scott. We did Black Mass, the Whitey Bulger, Johnny Depp movie, which we shot in Boston. And I did 2 years ago, I did Pale Blue Eyes with Christian Bale. That was another Scott film. So we have quite a few years of collaborations and this total trust with each other.
Mhm.
And we very much share the same language, emotional language, I think, of what the movie emerges to be and how to collaborate. So that's always, as we know, it's a huge privilege to work with the same director over and over again because there is a shortcut. There was also a shortcut with working with Stefania Cella, who is a brilliant production designer, and Masama, the director of photography. So we knew there were so many languages that we already were familiar with. So embracing on this quite challenging task was already, we had this entrance that the doors were a little bit more open because of that familiarity that we had with each other and trusting the safety of exchange of ideas that always creates an incredible comfort when you work with the same collaborators again.
Yeah, it's such an amazing thing because it's like comfort, but also safety too, where it's just kind of like, you know that you can come up with some crazy things and bring it to the table, and they just going to be like, okay, let's talk about it, instead of
Yeah,
just
yeah,
shutting something
exactly.
down,
Yeah.
which is so cool. And tell me about the script. I mean, were you surprised or when you got the script, did you know a little bit more about the project, like, or that was the biggest surprise for me, like what a different movie that was, that normally you would expect when you think of, okay, Deliver Me, Springsteen, Deliver Me from Nowhere, you would think it's just like a concert movie, and it really
Right.
was not. I mean, it was.
Mhm.
So when you got the script, what did you like, how did you react, or what was your emotional things about this?
It was a little bit of a surprise, but that best of a surprise
Hmm.
because we were also approaching this project, a movie about Bruce Springsteen, after we saw this incredible movie about Bob Dylan.
Right, right.
So there was always this moment like, okay, what's going to happen here? Because we cannot work in parallel, even though we all knew that it's going to be somehow that genre is relating to each other. So when I read the script, I actually immediately knew that it's going to be a completely different approach and a completely different approach to analyzing what creative process is. And I think that there was this moment of all of us adjusting to the idea that it's Bruce Springsteen and getting to know his um, life and his process and his early career in such an intimate detail that's an incredible privilege. I'm a music freak. Like I'm obsessed with music. I'm obsessed with music and musicians creative process. So this was yet another privilege of getting to know that world so intimately. And there was so one starting point is always what is on the page,
Hmm.
followed by the
Hmm.
discussion with the director and following the discussion with the creative uh, participants and the actors who are coming in to embody this the roles in this project. And then we had Mr. Bruce Springsteen himself, who all of a sudden we realized that
Amazing.
he's going to be present.
I
Like
know.
it was so incredible because on one hand, he gave us this incredibly respectful place for us to discover what we needed to discover in the creative process. And at the same time, just at the end of the prep process, he made himself available to be a source.
Wow.
So
Wow. Wow. I mean,
yeah,
what a privilege to meet him and to hang out with him. I mean, my God.
every day. Yeah,
So cool. Wow, that's amazing.
yeah,
And I think that, the research is interesting in this play, in this type of a movie, because you can see the pictures, the real pictures of,
right.
of the person. And I mean, thousands probably of photos of,
Thousands of photos. Yes.
thousands of photos, and how do you, cipher through it? I mean, how do you kind of like,
Mm.
what do you concentrate on? Or, I mean, there's so
Mm.
much, and I mean, it was a certain, like, how many years? It was like a year or 2 year time
It's a
like,
year.
it was about a year or.
It was about a year, a little bit more than a year. But I think that it's the same thing when I was making a movie about Amelia Earhart, who was the first crazily well documented public person. There was about 5,000 pictures of Amelia Earhart.
Wow, wow.
It's similar. You look through those pictures over and over and over again to become familiar with that person. And
Mhm.
there's definitely so much information emerging from those pictures that you're learning the language of that person, knowing that it's a public language of that person. And
Oh, interesting, interesting. Okay, public knowledge of the person. Okay,
yes, this is like the images that we all own in our public psychic, that we
right,
think that we also know this is a performer,
right.
this is
The
a person,
persona, in a way, the
the
persona.
persona,
Yeah. Hmm.
like all those, the behind the scenes photos tell us more about the atmosphere and about the relationships of other people. And there's definitely an understanding that emerges from studying those pictures. Uh, you start feeling that you understand this person's choices. At the same time, I'm reserved about it because, again, those are photographs. There's always a layer that is not very private, because those photos that we're seeing right now, they are photo shoots. So we know that the level of
Okay,
privacy that is
gotcha,
created
gotcha.
is
Right.
not really private. And in a movie like this, Deliver Me from Nowhere, the whole idea is of this trying to discover the private life of Bruce Springsteen, and trying to understand what was the layer of photo shoot and what was hidden behind the public image.
I love
But
that. I love that. I love that. Yeah.
it's at the
Yeah.
same time, it's like you read whatever you can read, like, and there's this amazing autobiography that Bruce wrote, that it was, I listened to it on audiobook because it was such an incredible treat, because it was Bruce Springsteen reading it himself.
Oh,
You feel
wow.
like you're hanging out with Bruce Springsteen and listening to him telling a life story. And of course, this was like, that's that intimate already, that was that intimate entrance to his life, because there was so much information. And the whole time it's like we're making a movie, so all the pieces of the puzzle have to fit with the story told, with Scott's vision, with the actors' needs, and making sure that we don't reproduce just a copy of Bruce Springsteen. Those
Mm,
actors needed
that's
to
great.
emerge as their own channelers of those people, of those
It's like a
real people.
blend. It's kind of like a
It's a
just,
kind of a
yeah.
blend. And then at some point we had this amazing meeting with Bruce Springsteen where I showed him what was the map out plan. And it was so beautiful to get his reaction because there was stuff that he remembered as more significant than others. He remembered
Oh,
some of those photographs are black and white. He remembered, of course, he remembered the colors. He guided
wow,
me
beautiful.
to the colors. He also guided me to the pieces that were really significant to him and to his memory of things versus, there was like endless amount of pictures of him in a red t-shirt, which I wanted to use this red t-shirt. And he was like, you know what? I don't really wear it this much. So it
Oh, interesting.
clearly,
Wow, that's so interesting.
yeah,
Okay.
so it was clearly a photograph that was captured maybe on the 1 or 2 days. It wasn't coded in his memory as a piece that was significant to
Interesting.
him.
Okay, that's
So
very
he
cool.
definitely, yeah, he had pieces that were to him more important. And in the
Right.
end, I thought that that's the most important thing to acknowledge what was important to Bruce Springsteen himself in our
Yeah, I
story.
mean, it's that energy and something that,
Yeah,
again, bringing that intimate part, something that is really truly from him, in a way.
yeah.
Like you were saying, like finding the deeper meaning of things. So here's yet another level of just diving really deep into his psyche in a sense.
So I think that, as we study the materials, there's clearly pieces that emerge that are more significant than others to our storyline, that they feel more valid for the language that we're creating in the film. So I think that's how it started. The sifting through the images
Hmm.
became quite clear. And of course, starting working with Jeremy Allen White, it was also, we had this very quiet process of several fittings when he was embodying the spirit of Bruce Springsteen. And
Hmm.
it's like, as we all know, this is the most magical part of our work when
Completely. Yeah.
things start to emerge and they have their own version because we know when it's an imitation and we know when it's channeling. And I
Yes.
think all yeah, like,
Absolutely.
and I feel like it's my job to support the channeling and to create the world when the actors can emerge and embrace those characters and create enough of support um, pieces that will allow that process to happen.
Yeah, I mean the body language, his body language was amazing too. How he
Yeah,
kind of wore it, that what you see on Bruce, kind of how he puts the hands in his pocket and kind of the shoulders a little forward. I mean, it was just truly mesmerizing what Jeremy did. And like you said, I think
yeah.
that's the best part of the fittings too. It's like, how do you walk? How do you wear it? How aged it is. And were you able to, like, did you make pieces or did you found pieces? What
It
was
was
kind of the process of that?
it was a giant search through vintage pieces because we do know that the vintage pieces, once they have the right level of wear, are irreplaceable.
Yeah.
So this incredible design team that was on the search for the best of throughout the entire country and searching for those unique vintage pieces from that period that were the most valuable. We created a bunch of pieces too, so it was a combination of makes and vintage,
Mhm.
and it was, with Jeremy, it was really interesting. It was, as I mentioned, it's like this quiet process when he was like in the prep. There's the time we all grow, we all keep looking at the photographs and we were pointing to each other the stuff that was emerging from, because sometimes you look at the same picture 10 times and things start to emerge, and that's what's create this exciting discovery process when it all starts to click in, and the way that Jeremy embraced it uh was, I felt like exceptional, of like she was
Exceptional. I mean, truly exceptional. It was
yeah, truly
something,
exceptional.
you learn so much about this person, Bruce Springsteen, from this
Yeah,
movie, just who he really is and his struggle. And I mean, it was just so emotional. It was so
yeah,
interesting, such a kind of departure. Like you said, there's many movies about musicians, and this was really, um, I don't know, it really touched me, something that I think that artists struggle, and
Yeah.
Jeremy being so, I mean, embodied that character in a sense. I mean, even I don't know what you did, but how you altered the clothes, and I think the proportion was very interesting. I don't know if he has a similar body shape to Bruce, but it just the way you dressed him in a way, and created the proportion, it really embodied Bruce. He's,
Yeah.
which was really beautiful.
Thank you. Like I feel that Bruce Springsteen himself has this natural, incredibly great style. And for
Hmm.
me, what it means is that he is so aware of the proportion of clothing on his body. And I think that that's what created, and plus his attitude, plus the way he was wearing those clothes, but just the physical proportion of how things fit on him. That's the exceptional skills that some people just born with that. I think natural understanding of the proportions, and Jeremy channeled it. That's we definitely, and it was my job to measure those proportions on his
Yes,
body, and but he got it. He's got the same aesthetic. At least he had it
amazing.
for that time. I don't know if that's every
Right,
day, because I only got to know him during that process, but
right.
he had it. He had that same idea of this. It's like geometry on the body, and
Yeah,
and
yeah,
we I feel like we found it, we discovered it. And but it was a lot of observation. Like we observed the materials, and it was also this incredible support of the, as I mentioned, the design team, the co-designer Brittany Lahr, the
right, right.
assistant designer
Of
Amanda
course.
Seymour, the tailors. Like it was a machine behind it to make sure that whatever we end up with is of the right feel, resonating the
Yeah.
spirit
Yeah, because it's
of
amazing. I mean, sometimes
art.
it's truly half an inch. You know what I mean? It's
Mhm.
sometimes it's really just that, how do you take that in right here? So there's just a little bit more of a sexier,
Yeah.
shape or something. Yeah, and I love the textures, and I really felt that the aging was really beautiful. I love the sweat that you've created. I don't know if it was Jeremy real sweat on the stage, but it was just
Oh, it
was
was the real sweat for sure. Yeah. As the collaboration with the hair and makeup people who are,
beautiful job.
it
Yeah,
was a
it just
beautiful job. And our
beautiful.
costumers, like
Oh my God.
us on the ground, it's like everybody was, that's the best part of the filmmaking, when you can participate with the whole entire team who believes in what we make.
Yeah,
We are all filmmakers. So it's
completely,
once the
completely.
collective energy happens, you almost cannot go wrong, because
Yeah,
there's so many
yeah,
people invested
yeah.
in making sure that that material becomes alive on the screen.
Yeah, I mean, it's magic. It's truly magic when that happens, when everything collides in the right way. And I think in this movie it did. I think the lighting, and the kind of also the balance of some of the concert stuff too with the intimacy, so it wasn't like so quiet that you just kind of like, okay,
Yeah.
it was a really nice blend of the two. So you kind of got to know him, what he represented as himself on a stage, as well as, in those intimate moments when he was really searching for who he is, and trying to
Yeah.
figure out. Um,
Yeah, for me, making that movie was also very beautiful, uh, personal journey, because I've spent most of my life with musicians, and a lot of my friends are musicians, and
mhm.
my first favorite ex-husband was a musician. It's like it's such a world that I feel like I've lived for most of my life, both in Poland and in the States. So to be able to participate in representing this world and studying this world was this, extra treat that is like this diamond in my life, to be able to work on pieces like this.
Amazing, and having Bruce, and
Yeah.
having Bruce, like,
Yeah. And also getting to know, the early career of Bruce, because I think most of us know the later part of
yeah,
Bruce's life.
yes, yes,
And I remember I was filming Foxcatcher in Pittsburgh, and we were invited to Bruce Springsteen concert, and we saw his show at a stadium. It wasn't a stadium; it was like an arena. And I walked out, and I felt he sang for me. Like I was a
wow,
personal
wow.
concert, and the 80,000 people that walked out felt exactly the same way. And we all were talking about it. It's like I wasn't that familiar with his music. It was my first concert with Bruce Springsteen, and I felt that personal. And I felt like
Wow.
that's the privilege of music when it becomes religion. That becomes a
Right.
spiritual connection connecting all of us.
Right.
And I feel like to work on a project that studies him and his world and his process.
Which is so specific. And I
So
mean, that was so
yeah,
interesting. Like, wow. And I think that's the moment when what you're talking about, that he fought for that so hard to be able to project that kind of love for each of the people, in the
yeah.
audience in a way.
But he's also, that's what the power of music, right? And that's, I think, that what we are privileged in participating is that power of working on projects that connect with humans. That's, I mean, because I always say, what is my service? What is my service to the people around me? Because I feel like I've been so privileged to have jobs that I love and work with people that I love. Like, what is my service? And in the end, I think working on projects that bring joy and entertainment and some kind of
Hmm. Oh,
understanding of what we're
absolutely.
all doing here is the service, maybe.
I think so.
Also.
I mean, I think there has to be the joy part. I think that's, for people to come out from the concert or the movie. I mean, for me, it was such a special film. I came out and I was just so moved, it was really beautiful. And I am all about, like you, the process and, what it takes to really get something that works, on the screen or as a song. Tell me a little bit more. So you had the fitting, I mean, Jeremy just embodied the clothes. And then did you take pictures? And then did you have the pictures like on the wall? And then, did you uh, look with Scott or Bruce at the pictures and then kind of, did the puzzle where something should live? And, I love the idea of the leather jacket too, kind of showing up a little bit later in the movie. Um,
There
Tell
were
me a little
three
bit
leather
about that.
jackets,
To
actually.
let, yeah.
Yeah, because I think real Bruce at that moment had several of the jackets, and so there was definitely pieces. So usually the process, it starts always from research and embodying the
Mhm.
research and collecting all the pieces for the physical gathering of all the pieces to have the first fittings. And it's a quite quiet process. I take a lot of photographs, and then I edit all those photographs, and usually the day later, you start seeing it clearly. What is it that you have? What is it
Mhm.
that you're working with? And then I believe that it takes at least three fittings with the main principles. And
Mhm.
a lot
Mhm.
of it times when there's this emerging of a character, it's probably five fittings until things start fully working. And it's the tiny adjustments, the right fits of the t-shirts, the right fit of
Mhm.
the jeans.
Mhm.
It's like you
Mhm.
continuously go back and forth. And Jeremy's body was transforming also. So we were adjusting for the body transformation because he lost quite a lot of weight, I think,
Okay.
for the part, because Bruce at that time was so skinny. So it's a lot of photographs, and then I feel like when I'm ready to share it with the director, that usually happens after second or third fitting. It doesn't happen
Mhm.
immediately because I think
Interesting.
we
Okay.
need to have the time to develop the character.
Right.
Sometimes when I feel it strongly from the get-go that it's good to go, I can share it, but most of the time I feel like we know when the process is not fully ready to be shared, because sometimes it can
Gotcha.
get killed when it's in the midst of the process. So after that, maybe after two fittings, I start showing and running to the production design office, saying, "What are you doing for the interiors?" And
Right.
talking to
Right.
Osama, or how
Right.
are you going to shoot it? So we all talk to each other
Mhm.
continuously, because as the
Mhm.
sets are being developed, the colors, it's all the combination of the pieces, and at that moment we all are talking to each other, and then it's about pulling out all the strongest looks that are clearly are becoming the significant looks,
Mhm.
and then putting them together on design boards, making sure that all the characters within the scene
Mhm. Mhm.
are well balanced, that they all work with each other, and that it's not a singular journey. At the same time, giving some space for the actors to still work within their closets when they feel that they have more emotional attachment to one
Yes.
than the other, to give them that space because they are right to do it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
unless there is strong reason for something, we usually discuss this at this point when there's the closet, there's always a few extra pieces in the closet to give that space for exploration or a scene changing, because
Yes, 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 yes.
sometimes during the rehearsals, new things emerge. Sometimes
Hmm.
there's different
Hmm.
needs. So I feel like that pre-designing, which we do in theater, doesn't apply in films. There needs to be a little bit more flexibility. And but this movie actually was very much mapped out, and it was the actors, and of course we go back and forth and present it with the actors and discuss it. So it's this dialogue that happens significantly during the prep time. So by the time we go to filming, there's a clear map out of what it is. And in some ways it's more possible than others. Like in some movies have different nature. In this case, ideally, that's the ideal process, which I think gives the most space for the actors to embrace their roles later, so we don't spend much time on the day off on deciding what it
Right,
is that we
right,
do, because there's
right.
just no time
And
for
I
it.
think this is historical too, authentic period and stuff. So you can't just,
Yeah.
you have to be real with the things. I mean, you can't just pull something off the rack that just you got at the
Yeah.
moment or something, So I think
Yeah.
that, and I think also, what you said, I find it very interesting in the process to bring the other actors, Jeremy Strong, bringing him, as the John Landau character. I mean, that kind of contrast of the two, but then also some similarities as well, and how do you map that out, for example? So you do Jeremy Allen White first, correct? And then you probably bring, you start with the second number two after.
I mean, it was almost, yeah, Jeremy Strong came a little bit later, but it pretty much they were emerging at the same time, but there was clearly such different vocabularies
Right.
that there was not that much concern of any crossing. There would not be a healthy crossing between them. So I
I
think
mean,
we
Jeremy Strong, I love the turtlenecks. There's just one orange turtleneck that was like, yes, it's just so good. I mean, it looks so good on him. And is that something that the actually John Landau wore, or
Yeah,
the,
it's
or,
yeah, it was very fun actually to capture Landa, because he again is so well photographed. There's
uh-huh,
so many great pictures of John Landau. So there was clearly a persona
uh-huh.
that existed. By now, John Landau, of course, right now he's wearing this stylish black, and we sat down at one lunch and we both had such a great laugh with Bruce Springsteen and John Landau himself, because he looked at the pictures of himself. He was like, I don't think I wore it. And I pulled up research and he was like, oh my God,
That's
like, can
so
you make me
great.
cooler than that? And we had a really great laugh about this, because
Oh.
his style very much evolved over the years, and in the end, we embraced it. And I saw John Landau recently, and I said, what do you think? How do you feel about
Uh-huh.
it? He said, I would not change a frame. I love
Oh, yay. Oh, that's so
And
cool.
it was so beautiful. And also, like, we were talking with the actors that, everybody was so committed to honor those real people,
Hmm.
that they were our guiding light through the whole process of honoring who they were and what they I would say, what did they stamp with their feeling, what
Yeah,
felt right to
yeah.
them?
Uh,
Because in the end, it wasn't about this was this sweater or this was that jacket. It was
right.
about that feeling of who they were at that
Oh,
time.
it was
And
so good. I
and
love
and
Jeremy Strong.
that's like, you just have to trust it, that I mean, I trust this process by now after doing so many
Yeah.
films. If you really pay attention to all the pieces and collaborate together, it all emerges and lands at the right spot.
It's so true. It's kind of like it's a little bit of magic where it all comes and then feeds off each other. All the
Yeah,
elements come together. I love that. I mean, it's shot so beautifully. I love all your
so
background,
beautifully.
so beautifully. I
Yeah,
love the color palette that you all kind of created with him, and because there's always little pops of color and stuff. Nothing is, monotone. Even though there's moments are so tough in the film, there's
yeah,
always something that just kind of pops up, which is beautiful. Which takes me to one of another favorite character, Odessa, who plays
yeah.
Faye. I love the way you dressed her. It was like,
Thank
seriously, it was so cool. I love her leather jacket. The red leather jacket was so fabulous.
you.
It
Debbie
just,
Harry, we can contribute it to Debbie Harry.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
so good.
absolutely.
Oh,
Again, I mean, she's a composite character. She's not a real person, but she's inspired
yeah.
by several of Bruce's girlfriends, and I think that there were elements of a few stories. But again, I studied so much people of that time of women who were part
Oh,
of the scene, rock scene, and the women who inspired the looks, which is a lot of the performers from that period studied the rock scene and street scenes, and then embracing Odessa and that whole storyline, and also making sure that she's our lead female and she's so different than all the males in our story.
yes,
To
yes,
be, she needs to be with color, she needs to be with
yeah,
softness, she needs to represent the femininity. And so it was once again, I feel like we are the observers that we need to observe all those requirements that are
yeah,
requested from us,
yeah.
and we need to just respond to all these moments of observation.
Yeah, I like, it's something about her, kind of that grounding character, that earth character, something that's saying to him, come on, come out of your shell, see me as this kind of, like, I don't know, a little sparkle of life. Uh,
Yeah.
and I really loved the way you did it, because she was so different that maybe the characters that you normally see from that era, there was a lot of imperfection in her.
Mm.
I really loved it. I mean, I love the hair design and on her too, and
Yeah.
just like the makeup.
Beautiful.
It's just,
Yeah.
it's so much more, I think, European, like Godard movies or somewhere where it's just, these characters can emerge because there's not so much
Artifice. Yeah.
artifact on them,
Yeah.
that really she was beautiful. Such a really loved how you expressed her.
Thank
Um,
you. Thank you so much. And it was great collaboration with the hair and makeup team because we all, Odessa is, I mean, she's just already embodiment of that part. And
oh,
she came to the fittings we all were like, oh my God, this is what it is. This is what it needs to be. Adding more to her would
yes,
distract.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
So I loved your restraint in the sense of kind of going, in the reverse in a sense.
Yeah.
It was beautiful but simple in a way.
Mm.
But there was always color. There was always kind of, I don't know, there was something that it's like that love or whatever it is, heart part, that maybe she was that light that could have opened him in some way if he was able to, open up to it. It was very interesting, it was interesting to know that about him and learn that about his relationship to himself and women as well.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's a tough road. We know this because we are also people who are on the road constantly. How do you create this intimacy when you are pulled, away in so many directions, and so,
Yeah.
concerts or movies where we are shooting in so many different places. So it was very interesting um, to have her be so real.
Yeah.
Really,
I thought she was very beautiful, and she was like that embodiment, I think, of the female character that resonated with so many people. I think that's the beauty of creating characters as our actors created them, that so many people can relate to them. That I think that the love story, we believed that love story. We believed why was that angst between them. We believed
yes,
so many
yes,
parts of that storyline that you're like, oh my God, I've been there. I felt
yes.
like
And
I,
like, please stay
yeah,
together, but then
yeah,
the reality of life going, oh shit. And then, it's like,
yeah,
it's so tough. And I think on the whole, again, I think that kind of that what you did so well here, it's like this rock star persona, or her, this beautiful girl, but like really finding the realness and the grittiness of everybody, in a way. I mean, mental issues and depression and anxiety are very difficult things in our lives. We all, I think, more and more in our lives, we dealing with so many things, so many layers. But then we have the other personas, and how do we blend that together, who we really are? Can we expose ourselves? And I think in this movie, you found a way to expose him.
I think he found it and Scott found it. Like I feel like I just followed the lead here
Hmm, hmm,
because
hmm.
I mean, I knew the movie we were working on. I observed this film, and then when I saw the final cut, it was more intimate than I thought it would be. And I found it so beautiful. Like I found it that I thought that this movie was definitely bridged this level of diving under the skin of the vulnerability and of anybody who feels like this, giant iconic person. You don't think that there's this level of vulnerability, but obviously there is. There were just, and I think Scott managed to capture it on the screen with those incredible performances of both
Oh my
Allen
God.
and Jeremy Strong and with
Wow.
Odessa, that they broke through that layer of intimacy that they managed to portray.
Yeah, because I mean, creative process is such a mystery too. I mean, it's like that fears that we have to go through, and not knowing, will we come up with another song again? Will it be good? Or even for me, costumes. Like I always doubt myself. Will I do it? Will it's gonna, like, and then you allow for things to come, and then you fight for the things, and that fight was also really beautiful. That also inspired me. Like that fight for, no, this is the way I want to. Um, and how how
Right?
how hard.
It's actually I always feel that, I mean, what you said, it's so inspiring. I felt inspired. I felt inspired by his commitment to the truth that he had. I also was endlessly inspired by Bruce Springsteen himself and his humbleness.
Wow,
To me,
wow,
I felt like that was yet another level of lesson in humbleness, because this man of clearly this great accomplishment and
wow.
connecting to humans, people carry that kind of success in so many different ways. And this
Mhm.
man carries it with this incredible humbleness. And I was a fan, but now I'm just an enormous fan of him as a performer, artist, human being, and I think that that's also, I think it inspired all of us working on this film, and I hope it translates in the movie.
Oh my God, absolutely does. And also, I mean, talking about being kind and beautiful person, he gave you some of his clothes for the film, I
At
heard.
a certain point, he said, when we were in that early prep, he said, if you want to, you can have some of my stuff. I was like, oh, please, of course. And
Wow.
then
Did
we
you get to keep it? Like, did he actually give it to the production, or you had,
No,
because did
we
you alter
returned
it,
it
or?
to we returned it to him. We used
Okay.
very few pieces because they are very different sizes also.
Hmm.
But the most beautiful piece I think that we used was this plaid shirt that Jeremy is wearing during the scene with the father. And that was that hero plaid shirt that Bruce.
Is it the black and white one? Is that the
No,
one,
it's
or
the
which
black
one is
and
it?
white was ours, but it's a
Okay.
white and blue.
Okay.
He had several of those plaid shirts at that period, and that was the one of his favorite shirts. And that shirt is so fragile, and it
Wow.
was stitched so many times on the back. And our tailor Nicole reinforced all the stitching, and it was almost like
Wow.
Japanese artwork work on the back of the shirt. And I was with Bruce Springsteen, and I said, Bruce, you know that it might fall apart as we filming it, that we might shred it, because it was, it's
Wow.
like the last
Wow.
few days. And he was like, it will be a good cause if that's in that
Oh.
scene. And it was moments like that were just like, oh my God, this man he just passes over to us his treasures.
Hmm. Hmm. Was any of his leather jacket made it, or did you go
No,
all the way? No,
we
no.
had
Okay.
uh
Wow.
we had our jackets, like some of those original jackets. I'm not sure if they exist still,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
jackets from that period.
Right. But tell me about the jackets. It was very interesting. Toward the end, you see the jackets. Is there something, when he's at the studio in New York at the time, when he's outside, I think with Jeremy Strong, with John Landau, is there, he's walking the streets of New York. Is that something that he was gaining some more strength, do you feel like, or was there any of that in your thinking, or
No, I
or historically maybe he was wearing those things?
historically he was wearing a lot of leather jackets, and he had
Mhm.
before that period he was wearing famously that biker jacket with a
Right.
ripped up white V-neck t-shirt, which we did use in one or two scenes later on, but not the biker jacket, because that biker jacket was definitely Bruce himself, he was like, we were never planning to use it, but he was, as we were discussing, he was like, that was such a stage. I was not wearing that particular jacket at that point. But throughout his career, there were endless leather jackets. I think that man truly loves leather jackets.
Well, he looks pretty
That
damn
period,
good in those leather jackets.
in that period, he had several of the leather jackets, and we used the 3/4, the short one.
So I think you use more of this one you used,
This
right?
was
That one?
late. That was also no. That was also earlier. We
Okay.
used the 3/4. This is the
Uh-huh.
signature leather jacket, and pretty much that was the right period, and that was the jacket and fit of jeans and the boots and the 3/4 length, kind of like a blazer leather jacket. That was like a
Uh-huh.
short bomber jacket, which we also used one of those
Uh-huh.
jacket. He had three leather jackets in our
Uh-huh.
film.
Amazing. Amazing. And the jeans were a little bit flared or straight?
They were bootcut because he was wearing Western boots. So
Okay.
we had, and that's the 3/4 blazer style jacket. And he
Okay.
always had those popped up collars. And I hope
Love
everybody
that.
wears them with the popped up collars because for a while, like recently, they were not considered to be cool. They are cool. Like Bruce Springsteen wearing them popped up.
Yeah, yeah, so cool. And
Awesome.
is
Yeah.
that's the white and black shirt that everybody talks about. So is
That's
that
the one I'm like, this might have been the white and blue shirt.
oh, okay. Okay.
His real one, the one that we used for the father scene. And
Uh-huh.
here he's wearing I think it's the Western, the biker boots. He had like pretty much alternate between Western and biker boots.
Okay.
He also did, but it was, the super high waist, tight, super tight jeans. You can see the leather, the blazer style.
I love that. It's so, I
Here,
mean,
yeah,
it's timeless. I mean, you can wear
yeah,
it now. It's just so cool, you know. I mean, it's that rock and roll vibe that's just,
yeah.
perfection, truly. I mean, I just can't say enough about Jeremy. Just Alan White just stole my heart in that movie completely. Like I'm in love. It's just so beautiful. I think what you did with him is just it's so real. That all that combination we talked about, all the elements came together so beautifully. It's amazing. I mean, I hope that all of you get so much recognition at the awards for this film because it's just really
Thank
special,
you.
and it's interesting, there's the Gilded Age, the big costumes, but then there's also the quiet moments, that
Yeah,
really are that is like a second skin to the people, second
yeah,
skin to the actor, that you don't even know they're wearing clothes, but they are wearing
yeah.
clothes and they are being, that particular character. So it's I don't know. I think our job is such a mysterious job, what we do. That it's
Amazing, right? I mean,
amazing
such a
job.
variety. I mean, on Gilded Age, I have this like visual language that I can express for the needs of the production, and it's so different than telling this, than being part of storytelling. I
Right.
feel like the complete different processes, but it all somehow makes sense.
Of course,
It's
because I mean they have to feel real.
yeah,
They have to feel real on the screen. I mean, it's like you
yeah,
gotta know that this is Bruce played by Jeremy Allen, but then you are lost. You don't even know it's Jeremy Allen White. You kind of feel it's Bruce in a way
yeah,
by everything that we do, that visual language that we add to the costume. Like we talked about the
yeah.
proportion. I mean, the aging. Everything is important in that way.
Yeah, but
So.
it's also, it's always I say it's a huge demonstration of the strength of the team,
Mhm.
of the
Mhm.
people that are making the films with us, that those films don't happen by one singular vision. They happen because of the effort of the whole entire costume team, and we know that we have incredible people behind that, behind what ends up on the screen. And as I mentioned before, the co-designer Brittany Lohr and Amanda, the ACD, and Nicole, and the fitters for background, because we had endless
Oh
amount
my God, I wanted to ask you, is it
backgrounds,
is it
right?
mostly people, is not CG, right? All the
Oh,
concert
they are
goers?
most of the, I mean, some of it, the giant stadium scenes were
Right,
extended,
right.
but we had a lot of extras, and it was big team of our fitters and costumers
Wow.
who are handling those teams, and the last minute adjustments of like making sure that everybody is looking like they are sweaty at the concert. I mean, there was a lot of effort and a lot of participation of our entire design and wardrobe team to put that on screen.
Yeah.
And
Bring, and I mean, you got to
effort
dress
was
them. Yeah, you got
yeah,
to dress everybody head to toe. And I mean, what's interesting to me too, body shape is different than it was in the 80s too. I mean, people are either bulkier or bigger. It's interesting too. How do you fit the period clothes as well? It's interesting, but the
yeah,
color palette was really beautiful. I mean, it felt sweaty. It felt
yeah,
period.
yeah,
And I really truly love that the color palette in this film you were able to, and I think with the lighting as well, to bring it up. Always there's something sparkly, something kind of interesting to the eye. And I think the extras were fantastic. So congratulations to you and your team, of
yeah.
course.
Thank you.
It's amazing. That's just really great. I think this is the one that I saw that's beautiful. Like you see a lot of people. I mean, there's like just pops of green and the yellow and you have red. I love the way that you design. I really love your aesthetic. Because no matter what movies, if it's something even very action packed or something, like adjustment bureau, there's always some color there. And
Yeah.
I'm that way too. I love it. To me, it's just really,
Yeah.
it makes it exciting on the screen.
Yeah, because it's like, yeah, color is part of, and when you walk out to the world, is the color exists. It's about embracing it in a way that serves the screen. But it also here,
Right.
Masama filming is just extraordinary. His lighting is
It's extraordinary, truly extraordinary.
extraordinary.
Yeah. I mean, like, wow.
Yeah, it's like the way that the colors actually we see the colors, because sometimes we have a lot of color and then it gets for the many different reasons, it becomes a different color on the screen. But here,
Right.
I think this color was as intended, ended up on the screen, which is very, very satisfying because sometimes we just don't see the color at all
Yeah.
because of lighting and whatnot. But this happened to be like this good combination of the needs of everybody's needs that we ended up
Hmm.
seeing color.
Hmm. Beautiful balance. I think beautiful balance and kind of coexistence of all of it together. It's and I think that's when movies become iconic. I think this is when something that expression of all of that, it can inspire others. Like you were inspired from the concerts. I'm so inspired from seeing this movie, walking out and just having such an incredible experience. Truly.
Mm.
uh it's extraordinary. So yeah, thank you so much, for
Thank
this
you
and
so much.
all your beautiful work. And
Yeah,
can't
thank you for
wait to,
taking your time.
yes, can't wait to see the new Gilded Age. We'll be waiting,
Extravaganza.
extravaganza. And I hope our paths will cross someday and we can have a little herbatka razem.
I would love that. I would love that. That would be super special. We can talk Polish.
Yes, exactly. So
Yeah.
thank you again and
Thank you so much.
congrats and all the best.
Thank
Have a
you.
great time.
Thank you so
Okay.
much.